and the international. Well, what do? Do we continue making Eid when our uncle is fasting and the cousin is still praying Taraweeh and you're getting ready for Eid? It's a huge mess. Every year it's a mess. Families are divided, communities are divided. What is the solution? The solution lies directly in the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in the Tirmidhi. The Prophet ﷺ said, "As-sawmu yawma tasumun, wal-fitru yawma tafturun." The Prophet ﷺ said, the fast is the day you all fast. Tasumuna is in the second person plural form. Fasting, the fast is when you all fast. And the fitr, the Eid, begins, is the day when all you stop fasting. What does this indicate to us? This indicates to us that the Prophet ﷺ is encouraging us to have one day for Ramadan and one day for Eid. It can't be that everybody's fasting and you by yourself, or everybody's making Eid and you by yourself, you're fasting. But you will violate this hadith of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. This promotes the unity amongst Muslims. And it's very astonishing that we all want, unity from the East Coast to the West Coast, from the North to the South. We want the whole world, Muslim world, to unite under one ruler, right? But what about just take here New York City? Or forget New York City, let's just take one borough, Queens. Why don't we just unite the masjid just in Queens, for example? So look, guys, let's just drop our egos. Let's just drop our politics. The worries, well, if you all do it one day, who's going to make the khutbah? Is it your imam? Is it our imam? Who's going to collect the donations? What's the percentage? I said, subhanAllah, let's drop these petty issues for the sake of uniting the Muslims and performing the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. So when it's the day of Eid, everybody is celebrating Eid. And if it's fasting, everybody enjoys beginning the month of Ramadan together. Options. Basically two options. To do that, there are two options. There's a principle that the Imam yarfa'ul khilaf, the ruler of a Muslim country, right? A Muslim ruler of a Muslim country, removes the difference that exists if the difference of opinion are valid. There are two types of differences of opinions. The first set of them are differences of opinions where there are valid, credible differences of opinions. Meaning each side have their evidences, and not just their evidences, but the deductions of the evidences are valid. The second type of differences of opinion are where there are differences of opinion, but it's not a valid difference of opinion. Meaning one side is either using an unauthentic evidence or the deduction of the evidence is not valid. There, the difference of opinion there is not to be, that difference of opinion can be objected. Whereas here, where both sides have credible evidences and valid deductions, there is room for difference there. If this is the case, and this is the case for the local and international side. As far as astronomical calculations, we know it directly contradicts the Sharia, as we showed today. But the local and international siding, we've shown that they both have credible evidences and credible and valid deductions. If this is the case where they differ in a Muslim country, then if the Muslim ruler comes and he chooses one of the two opinions, the rest of the country should follow that opinion for the sake of unity for the Muslims. That's the first option in a Muslim country. But we don't have that here, right? Bush is not Muslim yet. To make an analogy to that, what we can do as option one is go by the nearest Muslim country to America. There'll probably be some country in West Africa. That when they make Ramadan, because they have a Muslim ruler, whatever opinion that Muslim ruler decided, are we going to do local or international? We're going to go by that. If they make Eid, we're going to go by that. Now, honestly, this first opinion, I don't think the Muslim community, a lot of us have excuse me for saying it, have the maturity to go by this opinion. There is still a lot of nationalism, a lot of, division based upon culture, race, ethnicity. You'd be like, oh, we're following Senegal or Morocco. What about my home country? I don't think we've reached, as a whole, right? I think, except a few, of course, I don't think a lot of us have reached that maturity yet. So which leads to the second option, which is to go by the majority. If both are credible evidences, if both are credible and valid deductions, then what we should do is look at our community. Let's begin at a small scale. Let's take New York City, for example. And let's find out what is the majority method. What is the method of the majority? Are they doing local or international sighting? And once we attain a majority, figure out what the majority is, we all should go with that majority. And then work that majority into a consensus by speaking to the minority and say, look, in your khutbahs you talk about unity. Here's your opportunity. Here's your chance. This is your chance. And every single one of us can do that. Because a lot of us live next to masajids, or we are associated with masajids, and we know people in masajids. And this is not something impossible. People have been burnt out thinking, oh, moonsighting, here we go again, right? But this is not something impossible. If we figure out what the majority is, and then work that into a consensus, I strongly believe it's possible. So that's regarding moonsighting. And regarding the moonsighting, I just want to touch one issue regarding the traveler. Because you could travel from a place that they're doing local sighting, and you end up to another place that they do international sighting, and what do? When do you make your Eid? The days were different. They're one day ahead, they're one day behind. What do you do? Right? So you travel to a place that is behind. They're one day behind you, meaning you have one extra fast. So you could end up with 31 fasts for that day. Well, if you travel to a place that is behind, then there's no problem. That extra fast is extra worship for you. There's no problem there. The issue comes, what if you travel to a place that is ahead of you? Meaning you're minus now. And that can be one of two scenarios. One, you travel to a place where you end up having 29 fasts and the people are making the 30th fast. And tomorrow's Eid. Do you make up the 30th fast or not? Here, you don't have to make up the 30th fast. Because your month is complete. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, a month is either 29 or 30 days. And your 29 days is a month of Ramadan that's complete. However, that's if the month will be 30 days in that locality. However, if you have 28 and it's their 29th, they just finished the 29th and they sighted the moon, there's not going to be a 30th day. The next day will be the first of Eid. You end up with 28 fasts. And that's a problem because the Prophet ﷺ said that a month is either 29 or 30 days. So, do you fast on the day of Eid? Of course not. Because Al-Fitr, the Fitr is the day, Taftarun, that you all make Eid. So you should make Eid together and then you make it up afterwards. You have to then make up one fast to complete the month. And if there are any questions regarding the moon sighting, we'll take that now, inshallah.
From the moon to the spoon. Learn the fiqh of Ramadan and fasting.